talked to UNT's police department to give us more information about how students can report sexual assault.
But how has this affected shoppers?
And how you can help a friend struggling with mental health.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Us on ntTV Nightly News, I'm Hannah Minch.
And I'm Andrew Fancher. Calling it necessary for public health, the Center for Disease Control will ask the Justice Department to reinstate the mask mandate. The announcement came down just a few minutes ago. This would reinstate the use of masks on planes, trains, buses, and other forms of transportation. The Justice Department also announced that it is filing a notice of appeal, but this does not change the current situation, which allows people to travel without masks. ntTV will keep you updated as the story develops. And April is National Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and staying informed about how to handle a sexual assault case is important, especially on a college campus. Our own Nomi Sanchez is outside the UNT Police Department with details on how students can handle cases of this nature.
Thanks, Andy. Well, statistics show that there is one case of sexual assault every 68 seconds in the United States. And now we talked here to UNT's Police Department to give us an insight of how students can report cases of sexual assault.
You're going to have initially patrol go out to check, and their main focus is, again, the safety. Do they need medical assistance, that type of thing? Do they feel like they're safe in their room? Do they need to move housing? Do they want to use a pseudonym, that type of thing? They're also trying to find out just the basics. Is this someone that they know, and is there an ongoing threat to campus type thing?
Now, according to Detective Stevens, the most important part is that initial step for students. And now in this interview, she tells us a little bit more of where those resources are at.
No. It's up, the whole point is to give the survivor that control back.
Okay.
And so sometimes you'll have folks that'll come in, they just have questions. I have no idea what just happened to me. Please help me out so we can get them resources, that type of thing.
Now, UNT's Police Department has already taken their own steps to ensure that victims feel safe and welcomed when they deal with these cases. And so basically what they've been doing is getting some proper training. Let's see what Captain Washington has to say.
And I'm very proud to say that we have over the years obtained quite a bit of training within our division, but also we've extended that training to our officers as well. You know, we do trauma-informed training for all of our patrol officers to help them when they're approaching this on the patrol side.
Now, implementing trainings like this is super important because it helps the victims get help, but it also makes them feel believed.
As a woman, I understand that in the past, sexual assaults were, you didn't get the respect when you went. It was scary to go into the police. And I wanted the message to get out that new understanding has come out about that. And what used to be thought of as, well, you know, she's lying because she can't remember, you know, A through Z of what happened, or there's gaps in her memory, or she's laughing, or has no emotion whatsoever. She doesn't look like what TV and media says a sexual assault survivor should look like. And so with the trauma-informed information that we're getting and going from that perspective, you realize that's not evidence of deception. That's actually evidence of some traumatic event actually occurred.
Captain Washington, there can easily be confusion when dealing with these kinds of cases. Now, if you can see on screen, if something happens on the UNT property, that is the UNT Police Department's jurisdiction. However, if anything off UNT property happens, it falls under the jurisdiction of the Denton Police Department. Another thing to remember is if you are planning to report a case of assault, police officials ask victims to not change clothes or shower or clean the scene of sexual assault. Now, you can see some of the resources available to UNT students. Please don't hesitate to contact any of these numbers should you feel it's necessary. And now, since February of this year, there have been 14 cases reported, which shows just how important it is to keep students informed about these resources. And now, if you or anyone you know may need these resources, we have more information on our ntTV website. This is all I have at the moment. Reporting for ntTV News, Naomi Sanchez.
Thank you, Nomi. Well, it's much hotter outside today than yesterday, don't you think?
That's right, Hannah, and you know, that is just Texas for you. Now let's see what our weather anchor, Gabriella Cardin, has in store later this evening. Gabby?
Thanks, Andy and Hannah. Now, the temperatures have definitely changed since yesterday. I had to wear a jacket all day yesterday, and today, not a jacket in sight at UNT's campus. Right now, I'm at the top of the Union where temperatures are very hot and no clouds are seen in the sky. But let's get into these temperatures for our first look weather. Right now, Denton is sitting at 89 degrees, and it actually feels hotter at 93 degrees. We also have wind speeds at 20 miles per hour, and again, those sunny skies. Looking into tonight, we're thankfully going to have a temperature drop into the 70s. Those wind speeds are also going to drop a little to 17 miles per hour, and some clouds are going to roll in to help with those cool down temperatures. Now, looking into tomorrow morning around 9 a.m., where our temperatures are going to read around 72 degrees. It's going to feel a little warmer at 74, and again, those clouds will stay to help with those cooler temperatures tomorrow. Now, I will have more information on upcoming storms and how these hot temperatures are going to look around the state, but you have to stay tuned for that. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. The Medal of Honor is the highest award for valor in action that can be given to an individual serving in the U.S. military. And late this afternoon, the Congressional Medal of Honor motorcade left DFW Airport, making its way up I-35 and through Denton. It will arrive in Gainesville, which has been the host city of the program since 2001. This year, 7 Medal of Honor winners are part of the procession, which included more than 550 vehicles. The program hosts Medal of Honor recipients and parades, ceremonies, and dedications. This is the 14th annual parade, and once it reaches Gainesville, the recipients will be honored again with a parade, special dinner, and other events. The events today are all a part of a week-long celebration, and tomorrow, North Texas Central College will break ground on a new Medal of Honor Educational Museum. So, between the bumpy roads and unexpected potholes on many streets, it seems that Denton is always under construction. ntTV's Taylor Davis has more on whether our tires will be able to catch a break. Taylor?
That's right, Hannah. Everywhere you look, there seems to be a traffic cone or a street blocked off. Well, that's because the city of Denton is continuing their project to repair damaged streets. The Southwest Sector Phase is a part of the 2020 Street Reconstruction Bundle and focuses on the improvement of North Texas Boulevard. The remodel will include a new curb and gutter, asphalt roadways, and an upgraded wastewater facility. Because of these repairs, construction crews have closed off Allen Sachs Drive just south of Traditions Hall. The crews are working to clean up the area and open both lanes by next week. Following this will be the closure of West Prairie Street next week. So it looks like our tires will have to hold out just a little bit longer. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Taylor. Coming up, an update on Ukraine and Russia's increased attack on the city of Mariupol.
And how the Crown Act is part of an effort to end discrimination in the workplace. Stay with us.
Of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
into my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
The city of Mariupol is running out of time. The Russian army has increased tank and sniper fire and is advancing on the city. Ukrainian officials are pleading for help to evacuate women, children, and wounded soldiers before the Russians arrive. CNN's Gloria Pazmino has more.
Takes its last stand.
We might have only a few days or even hours left.
The southern port city is besieged as Russian forces move forward. While thousands of residents seek shelter, the Ukrainian army is pleading for help as they continue to resist Russian attacks.
The enemy's units are 10 times larger than ours. We appeal to the world leaders to help us.
The mayor of Mariupol asked residents to evacuate the city Wednesday. In the meantime, a route is being set up near a steel factory where thousands of civilians and Ukrainian soldiers are believed to be taking shelter. A Ukrainian military commander says strikes by Russian aviation and heavy artillery are continuing.
The Mariupol military garrison has over 500 wounded soldiers and hundreds of civilians, among whom there are children and women.
While it's still early in Russia's shift toward an offensive in the Donbas region, two senior U.S. officials say there has been no major territorial gains for Russia so far. Still, pressure is mounting on the U.S. and NATO to provide additional military assistance and help with evacuations.
The Ukrainians have been trying for a number of days to negotiate a safe passage for civilians and for wounded fighters. There will be NATO allies involved in that, is my understanding.
I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
Governor Greg Abbott's week-long trucking blockade at the U.S.-Mexico border ended on Friday. Trucking companies are working to recover days of revenue they lost by being stuck at the border. The gridlock has also led to $240 million loss of fresh produce. The immediate losses caused by this blockade is felt strongest by truckers and farmers. But don't be surprised if you have to spend more on produce like avocados and strawberries in the near future.
Now, discrimination can take many forms, but one that people often overlook is hair. A bill called the Crown Act, which prohibits race-based discrimination at jobs and in schools, has been passed by the U.S. House and is on its way to the Senate. As ntTV's Andrea Valdez reports, it is an issue that many people know all too well.
I was never, made to love my hair in the spaces that I was in.
In 2021, Joy Collective partnered with Dove to conduct a study among 1,000 black and white girls, revealing 86% of black teens experienced discrimination based on their hair by age 12.
I don't have hair like everybody else, and everybody else doesn't have the same hair, but growing up in communities where I was around, my white peers, and their hair was a lot straighter and I guess more manageable than mine, it was really hard.
UNT student Kimberly Mondolazzi explains how her brother, who was a football player, wasn't allowed to play because of his hair.
Never was his locks a problem up until he got into middle school and he was playing football, and they said that he could not have his locks.
And the mother of high school student Jacob Rush, who is not allowed to walk at graduation because of his locks, said, quote, "Schools and workplace should keep in mind the importance of diversity and respecting other cultures. Hair discrimination is real and should be abolished."
I've heard many cases where it's like you can't walk in graduation because you have a certain hairstyle, or you can't go to prom, or it seemed more inappropriate to have certain hairstyles, and it's just really ridiculous, and it's really saddening to hear those things.
Senators have drawn up the Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair Act of 2022, or Crown Act, which will prohibit hair discrimination in the workplace and in schools.
It's a sad realization that as a child, you have to be told to be ready to face discrimination and face backlash because of what you look like.
For ntTV News, I'm Andrea Valdez.
Harris County passed its own version of the bill, and many other cities have either done the same or are in the process of doing so. Now, Hannah, have you noticed that all of these North Texas storms keep landing on a Monday?
I have noticed that. Let's check in with Gabby and see if that trend will continue. Gabby?
Thanks, Andy and Hannah. Now, not much has changed since you last saw me. It's still hot and it's still bright. But let's take a look at these temperatures across North Texas. Right now, Denton is sitting at 89 degrees, and our highest points are actually going to be in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Stephenville in those 90-degree ranges. Graham is actually the highest at 98 degrees. Now, as we look across our regional map of the state, we see Austin at 82, Amarillo at 88, and our highest point is going to be in Abilene at 99 degrees, almost hitting that 100-degree mark. And we are going to see cities like Abilene and other cities across the Texas state start to reach those high 90s as we go into the summer months. But now let's get into the 7-day forecast. Today was clear and sunny with a high of 91 and a low of 65, and the rest of the week up into Sunday is going to be partly cloudy, so those high temperatures are going to dip back down into the high 80s rather than the low 90s. Now on Sunday we do have a 94% chance of thunderstorms, and Monday we have a 48% chance of rain. So on Sunday and Monday this weekend, just make sure you're prepared for any of those rainy conditions. Then on Tuesday, we're going to go back to those partly cloudy skies, and our high for that day will be 74 degrees. Now that's all I have for our full weather report on North Texas Television. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. Now, I'm sure you've heard about somebody who discovered a priceless antique in their attic or a hidden treasure in their garage. Well, that actually happened to one man, and the art world is thrilled. Jeremy Roth has the story.
Experts say a lost 400-year-old Dutch master painting found hidden away in a storeroom in Australia could be worth millions of dollars. The work, called simply Still Life, was found amongst many works in a storeroom of what is now a museum owned by the National Trust of Australia. A spokesperson said they were left breathless by the surprise discovery of the 17th century painting. Its origins are still being investigated, but it is being attributed to the son of one of the great masters of the Dutch Golden Age, painter Willem Klaes Heda. A painstaking restoration project returned luster to the faded, centuries-old creation, preparing the elusive masterwork to be re-revealed to the world as part of an upcoming Australian Heritage Festival. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
After the break, how to help students who are battling mental health.
And the ongoing teacher shortage that's now a crisis. We have the story.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
It's now a crisis, the lack of teachers across the nation. Thousands of jobs are open as teachers leave the classroom, and Texas is no different. Officials are blaming a number of reasons for the problem, but the forefront of this reason is the pandemic. The pressures of teaching online, the anxiety of returning to classrooms in masks, on top of low pay, made for a perfect storm. And for states already facing a teacher shortage, it has forced school districts to get creative. And with Texas facing a shortage of 10,000 teachers, Dallas ISD is holding a Teachers Job Incentive Fair this Saturday. Beginning at 9 a.m. at Conrad High School, Dallas is hiring. Incentive to sign up include $2,000 for new teachers and a reimbursed payment of up to $4,000. Now, if you're interested, head to the Dallas ISD website for more information. But teachers aren't the only ones struggling in the wake of COVID. The U.S. Surgeon General has identified deteriorating mental health among young adults as an urgent crisis. Now, the Surgeon General is speaking with students to see what they think can be done. Cole Higgins with CNN's Mental Health Minute has more.
I've had a lot of friends come to me telling me that they're struggling.
High school students in Naperville, Illinois, opening up to U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy.
A lot of students don't think that their issues are severe enough to go and talk to like a counselor or social worker and get help. And I think that's something that we really need to destigmatize.
According to survey results published last month by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than a third of high school students in the U.S. experienced poor mental health at least most of the time during the pandemic, with more than 2 out of 5 students feeling persistent sadness or hopelessness that caused them to stop doing some usual activities.
We don't have a lack of ingenuity or committed individuals or resources. What we need more of is to connect them with one another.
This year's passage of the Consolidated Appropriations Act includes $111 million for school-based mental health grants. Dr. Murthy acknowledging what peers can do to help each other.
The items that you honed in on immediately, thinking about the role of social media, about how it impacts your sense of worth and value, about some of the cultural forces that lead us to feel like we're not enough. These are at the heart of what we've got to address, and those insights are ones that not everyone has.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Cole Higgins.
Hollywood star Matthew McConaughey wore a burnt orange suit to bless Austin's new state-of-the-art home for big-ticket entertainment. Matthew McConaughey unveiled the new Moody Center Arena. This venue is designed to create a next-level fan experience for both concert goers and baseball fans, with a commitment to creating an authentic Austin vibe at the center. The 8 murals inside the arena were created by local artists. One artist is Fabian Ray, who was hired to use his knowledge of the city and the university to create art for the venue. Looking ahead, the Moody Center is expected to attract 1 million people each year.
So McConaughey is in Austin, right? But is Drake in North Texas?
Drake in North Texas?
Where is this going, Jeremiah?
Well, y'all will find out after the break.
Somos papi chulo, recuerden, don't mess with Texas, y'all.
The Dallas Mavs looks to take control of the playoff series against the Utah Jazz tomorrow night in Salt Lake City. Jalen Brunson did his impersonation of Luka by dropping 41 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in Monday's win in Dallas. With Luka feeling a little better, reports are Luka will be returning soon, but not in time for Game 3. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. Thursday night in Utah. Now, the North Texas women's golf teams are back-to-back champions. North Texas beat out UTSA by 1 point to claim the trophy. Multiple-time golfer of the week and undoubtedly the star of the Mean Green, Audrey Tan led the team with 232 total team strokes and ended up 6th on the player leaderboard to cap off an amazing year for North Texas. Congratulations to you all for your hard work and dedication. Speaking of back-to-back, the Mean Green cheer team have also won the NCAA Spirit Rally National Championship earlier this month in Daytona. I guess North Texas learned a couple things from Drake this past month of going back-to-back. Congratulations to you guys and well-deserved win. And we all know about golf here at North Texas, but what about disc golf? Yes, that's right, disc golf. Members of the team are ready to take action and gear up for the season. We'll have more on that tomorrow night only on North Texas Television. Well, guys, that's all I have for sports, and back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Jeremiah. So, Andrew, tonight we are closing the show with animals. Well, sort of. These aren't your usual fluffy, cuddly creatures.
That's absolutely right, so let's get right into it. First up, a bug named Taylor. A Virginia Tech scientist honored his favorite pop star in an interesting way. Meet the swift twist claw millipede. I'm sorry about that. The mysterious bug is a new species named after Taylor Swift. The lead scientist, Eric Hennon, says listening to Taylor Swift helped him get through graduate school. So he decided to give her the honor of naming his new discovery after her. And the millipede is only found in Tennessee, where Swift grew up.
Now, Andy, hold on, because my story might change your shopping habits. You can see a lot of unusual things while shopping at Walmart, but this is different. Shoppers were surprised when this big fella was found sitting on a shelf in an Indiana Walmart. This python named Wolverine was picked up by animal control and taken into the shelter. Animal control says Wolverine is still getting used to being handled and would do well with an experienced snake owner. Well, Andy, I don't know about you, but I sure hope I don't see a snake on my next trip to the grocery store.
Yeah, no, if that's the case, I'll just steer clear of grocery stores from here on out.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow night here at 6 p.m. on North Texas Television.